Oh yeah, bourbon barrel brisket. This is from Farrar Farm. It's a Lynchburg beef. If you haven't had this stuff, you really have to give it a shot. This stuff is awesome. First thing you want to do here, we're looking at trimming the fat. Now this cut wasn't that bad. You usually want to cut to about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of fat. That's what I prefer. So that's a perfect example right there. See, this is right around 1/4 inch, top, bottom. You want to leave that on to kind of protect. You don't want it to burn. This is a little bit too much. We're going to come in here and trim that back to about 1/4 inch. That's better. Another trick. I like to cut against the grain right there on one little corner. So you cut against the grain, and that way you hang it when it's done cooking. You pull it off, you know exactly where you want to cut. We're going to season this thing up with a little bit of SPG. For those not to know, that's salt, pepper, garlic. We're going to apply it pretty liberally. This is where you get your bark on your brisket. So the more rub, the more bark you're going to get. So put it on, rub it in, let it sit. We got some wood, some oak. The bourbon barrel is a little bit, or the barrel is a little bit small, so we can't fit that whole piece in there. So we're gonna chop this up into thirds. Perfect, that'll fit. Light the charcoal up, a little charcoal starter action going on. We got some charcoal down in the bottom of the barrel. So once this heats up, we're just gonna pour it right in on top, and we'll be ready to throw the brisket on. Coals look good. We're ready to go. Let's dump these puppies in. Alright, coals are ready. We're going to throw the rebar in. Now on my pit here, you have to throw in the rebar because that's what you're going to hang the meat from. So instead of putting it right on the grate, you're going to hang it from this. Now, as the coals were going, the meat was sweating here. This is what you want it to look like. Your seasoning nice and wet, kind of moist there on the top. I know I used the word moist, sorry. We're gonna hang this puppy, so we're gonna get our hooks in there. We're gonna throw it in on one side, and because it's such a nice cut of meat, we're not gonna trust the one hook to kind of hold it. We're gonna go ahead and double it up. So we're gonna throw in another one, daisy chain that sucker, and now we're ready to go. So put it on, we're gonna drop it right in the grill. Alright, let's throw in our oak that we cut up here. So, I don't know that we're gonna need all three of these, but let's just drop one of these in here, and then we're gonna drop in another one. So, I think 2 might get it done. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think we'll leave it there. We'll let the oak catch fire before I put the lid on this thing, so let it get a hold. Once it's firing, we're gonna throw the lid on it, twist it, make sure it's sealed. Oh yeah, now it's smoking, you can tell. Looking good. Now while it's cooking, we're gonna let that thing sit in there probably about 5 to 6 hours. So we have some time to kill. So on to the not so fun stuff. And let's go check this thing. 6 hours later here, looking pretty good. Not quite the bark I want, but I don't think we're gonna let it cook any longer. I'm gonna pull that thing right around 160 to 170 degrees. At that point, we're gonna wrap it in the pink butcher paper. No substitution. No foil, no other color. Peach butcher paper. That's it. Alright, so let's open this up. We're gonna pull this brisket out. We're gonna throw it right on top of that wrap. We've got 3 of those pieces of paper because we're gonna wrap it up a few different times here. Pull this out carefully here. Don't want to let it go to the cold gods. I have done that before. That is no fun. Set it down. Oh yeah, man, look at that. Ooh, man. I want to dig into it right now. Get the hooks out of here. Pull out the hooks, that way we can wrap it up. Now here's the trick. We've got some beef broth, and we have some Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. I normally use a bourbon, but I was out, so we're gonna go with old JD. We're gonna pour the beef broth right on top. Main thing is here, you want it to saturate inside that butcher paper. You want that butcher paper to just steam while it's going. We're gonna throw a little bit of this whiskey right on top. Now this is some good stuff, so you kind of hate wasting it on meat. Pour a little bit here and then take a shot or two for yourself. Can't go wrong with that stuff. That's so All right, we're all wrapped up. Grab this puppy now. I'm gonna go throw it right on the grate. Still have quite a few hours left on those coals. We're gonna let it sit for another couple hours. We want it to reach 202 internally, so while that's going on, I've got some more stupid chores to do. Let's just knock these out real quick, and then we'll go check on that meat, see exactly where we're at. 203 makes it nice and tender. Once you hit that point, time to pull that sucker off, and you want to let it rest. This is really, really important. Put it in a cooler or in your oven, whatever. Just let it rest for about an hour or two, and then it's time to relax. My favorite, the ruby red bird. While we're letting the meat rest, we're just gonna see what's on the tube. Enjoy a little bit of ruby red bird. Relax. You've earned it at this point. All right, meat should be rested. It's been in here for about an hour and a half now. I'm gonna open this up and see what we've got. Oh yeah, look at that interior. You can tell it's soaked in that broth and that whiskey. Whoa. Oh yeah. It's like meat jello. Beautiful. Not quite the bark, but you know what? I'll take it. Looks good. I'm gonna let this thing cool down. And this is that slice that we put in at the very beginning. Lets us know right where we want to cut it against the grain. Make sure you always cut against the grain. That's meat class 101. All right, I'm gonna tear through this. You can always tell when a brisket's done, putting it up on your knife there. If it folds over that knife, you've done a good job. You deserve another ruby redbird, I would say. Yeah, look at that, baby. Woo-wee! Should be able to pull it apart with your fingers, and this one you certainly could. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So all in all, this was about 9 hours. Could have been a little bit faster, but it's not as slow as putting on a normal smoker. Bourbon barrel brisket, some corn cake, some corn and avocado salad. Oh yeah, you guys are gonna have to excuse me.